All right, so again, my name is James. I'm a video production specialist here at Videoguys, and we're going to be talking about some of the production that was used to make the 2024 Summer Games in Paris a thing. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is probably the most easily recognizable if you are looking at any behind-the-scenes photos for the 2024 games, you will probably see a LiveU pack. If you are a fan of Video Guys, you know that we talk about the LiveU Solo and the Solo Pro a lot for consumer and prosumer use. But LiveU does also have a broadcast division. We started talking about them a little bit more recently, but basically they have systems, the LU300S, the LU800, and then they have their cloud server, and then they have a physical server. So unlike the LiveU Solo, where you take a video feed, plug it into the LiveU Solo, and you send it directly to an RTMP destination or an SRT destination, with the LU300 and the 800, you can actually send those to a production system to mix and match with other cameras out in the field or with cameras in a studio. And in the case of the 2024 games, it was a combination of sending it to LiveU's Cloud Studio, LiveU Studio, and some on-prem switchers. So some pretty cool stuff with that. So yeah, like I said, basically, for the most part, they were using LU800s. That's a 4-channel SDI system that you can then send to the cloud and be able to interact with it in different ways. So like I said, LiveU Studio was a big one. Very, very cool. And as a matter of fact, with the LiveU Studio, we were able to live stream from Infocom a couple weeks ago. When that was happening, we had 2 LU300s there with data plans, and we were able to combine those signals, not combine those signals, but to send those signals to the cloud. And then even though I was here in New York, I was able to access LiveU's studio and be able to mix and match those cameras out at Infocom along with some videos and graphics here in New York. So very cool stuff. Now, if you want to do something like that, we do have the lightweight production bundles. And the way that it works is you can get 1 LU300, 2 LU300s, or 1 LU800, plus some data and access to the basic plan of LiveU Studio, all for a pay-as-you-go kind of price structure. Instead of paying for all of this stuff up front, it's a pay-as-you-go thing. It's a much smaller upfront cost. We actually did a show with John Porterfield a couple weeks ago, and he talked about some sports events. He talked about some charity events where he actually was using these lightweight production packages. And this is just more icing on the cake, I guess you can say, is that seeing these things in the Olympics. Sometimes you think, oh, that's too far out of reach. It really isn't, though. You can use these products on a much smaller scale and still get that same quality, that same aspect of professionalism, especially now with these lightweight production bundles. So if you have any questions about these, I highly recommend that you watch that video that we did with John Porterfield a couple weeks ago, or you can give us a call at 800-323-2325. Next I want to talk about is Panasonic. You know that we are big fans of Panasonic here as well, especially with their brand new production system, the KAIROS. And the KAIROS is used throughout a lot of the different venues. And one cool thing about the KAIROS is you are not limited in terms of the number of inputs that you have and the number of MEs that you have. And because you're not limited, you can have multiple venues all connected to one core if all of your cameras are coming over the network. And so that's what they were able to do at the 2024 games. You had 3 different venues with a single core system to be able to do their productions. Now, of course, they weren't just using the KAIROS, but they were using some of their PTZ cameras, including the UE100. They were using their studio cameras, And then, of course, anytime that you saw a projector, it was a very good chance that you were looking at a Panasonic projector. And Panasonic has not just been with the Olympics for the 2024 games, but they have been utilized, their cameras and KAIROS systems have been utilized throughout the years for for Panasonic and the Olympics. And we actually found a little video kind of walking through that timeline a little bit. So let's play that video. So as you can see from that video, Panasonic and Olympics have been working together for a long time. And as a matter of fact, I'm being told that they have had a partnership since 1987. So this is a long-running partnership, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon. Another thing that was kind of a fun fact, fast fact, all of the press boxes during the Olympics had Panasonic PTZ cameras in them. So that's another cool thing to see. On such a high-end production. Let's just call it that. Next, we want to talk about AIR, Advanced Image Robotics. Their X1X robotic cameras were being used during the fencing matches. And one of the benefits of the AIR system is that you can have, a broadcast quality camera onto a robotic head and then be able to control that camera, again, from anywhere in the world. And then the camera itself has an output, the robotic head itself has an output of either HDMI or SRT, which means you can then send that SRT signal to something like a KAIROS or to LiveU's Cloud Studio. So the endpoints are limitless. And here's just a really cool collage of seeing the Air 1X in use. And one thing that I want to highlight is the picture in the bottom left there. It is super easy to control these cameras because all you need is an iPad, which is provided with the Air 1 system. And it is pretty much, you just drag where you want the camera to go. You can set presets. You can, control your f-stop, your shutter speed, all of that from the iPad. And the iPad can be anywhere in the world as long as both the iPad and the robotic head are connected to the internet. So this is really cool technology being used at the Summer Games. Next is Canon. So Canon actually took a little bit of a different approach to how they can lend a hand to the Olympics. And what they did was they actually made it so people could loan Canon cameras, including the R3, the R1, the R5, the R6, and the 1DX Mark III. So basically, anybody that was in the press could borrow one of Canon's cameras to take any pictures or videos that they wanted throughout all of the events. And then not only were they letting people borrow the cameras for free, they were also giving free training, free services, free repair on all of this camera equipment. So that was, just something that is super cool to see, and the camaraderie, not only in the sports, but also in the behind the scenes, the production aspect of it, to just know that if your camera did go down, Canon was there, letting you borrow another camera or fixing the camera that you already had. So that's just really, really cool to see from Canon. Next is Vizrt. Vizrt, of course, makes the TriCasters and, of course, their instant replay machines, but they also are very big with graphics. We talked about LiveU Studio, we talked about KAIROS, and both of these can integrate graphics from various Vizrt platforms. And as you can see in this video, these are just an example of some of the graphics that Vizrt can do with their various, programs. One cool thing that they actually recreated with Flowix is the still picture behind the video that's playing there. That is a recreation of all of the awards that were distributed to the athletes, and that was just recreated in Flowix. And the reason that we really like that is because we're big fans of Flowix. Adam, if I ask you to pull up a lower third real quick, you can see that we use Flowix. This is not something that is, again, out of the realm of possibility of using on, a potentially lower end production. You don't have to have a $500,000 budget to get really nice, flashy graphics anymore. And this is just, proof of concept right here that you can make, basically an Olympic display with using just Flowix graphics, and you can make other nice analytics and things like that with Flowix as well. One thing that we kind of wanted to end was NBC actually put out this nice article, and my big personal takeaway from this is, the transmission protocol for broadcast standards for the longest time has been SDI, baseband cable, and over the past couple years, SMPTE, specifically 2110, has become the AV over IP standard, and NDI has not been in that area. But it was very, very, very cool to see that NBC was actually using NDI in some of their productions for the Olympics. And their reasoning for that is because with NDI 6, you now get high dynamic range over IP, as well as enhanced audio channels. All of the cameras that were on location are extremely high resolution cameras, 4K, 6K, 8K cameras, but everything was being downsampled to 1080, a standard. And so that's another thing that I kind of took away as like, oh, that's an interesting fact. Everybody says, oh, is 4K the standard? And if the Olympics, the biggest sporting event of every couple of years, is still standardized to 1080, then I think that, if you don't have the budget to go to a 4K production, it is not the end of the world. I think this just proves again that the more important thing is proper lighting and high frame rates. If we're looking at the all of the coverage was in 1080, 50 hertz. We always say 60. In different parts of the country, they don't. In different parts of the world, they don't do 60. They do 50. So that is what's more important than the resolution is proper lighting and high FPS. Last thing that we wanted to talk about today is, if you're big fans of Videoguys, you know that every year we do NDI November, where we spend a month talking about NDI, and we do EduStream, where we talk about, how live streaming incorporates into schools, and we also talk about Worship Stream, helping houses of worship find live streaming production equipment. And for the first time ever, we are going to be doing a sports stream where we're going to be just talking about all of the various aspects that go into live streaming with a sporting event. So day one on September 10th is going to be about the basics. We're going to talk about cameras. We're going to talk about PTZ cameras. We're going to talk about switchers, encoders. We're going to talk about network switches, all of that stuff, all of the basics. Then on the second day, on September 11th, we are going to go into some more advanced production qualities, such as how do I incorporate a scoreboard? How do I, I want even higher frame rates. I want instant replay that plays back in slow motion. We're going to talk about all of that stuff on the second day, September 11th. And then on September 12th, we're going to talk about remote productions with sports. Again, LiveU Studio, advanced image robotics. A bunch of our PTC manufacturers are making it so you can control cameras remotely. So we're going to talk about all of that stuff on the third day, September 12th. So if that sounds remotely interesting to you, see what I did there? Play on words. Head on over to sportstream.us and you can register for that today. It's totally free, and we hope to see you there. That's pretty much all I have for today. I'm sure that there will be more articles that come out with more behind the scenes. So definitely make sure to check out our blog where we'll be talking about all this. And we'll see you next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Peace.
Videoguys is available Monday through Friday. Give us a call at 1-800-323-2325. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay connected with all of our updates. And you can like us on Facebook. Keep an eye out for our live videos, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.